Yo, what's going on? It's DJ Crowley, and of course, Blue's in the house as well. And we have a very special occasion today. We are live on site in Knoxville with the one, the only Nick Hexum. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Really good. Thanks for having me.
It's absolutely a pleasure to have you back in Knoxville, man. You know, you come here every once in a while, but this time it's a little bit of a different vibe. You were on your first ever, well, not your first ever solo tour, but you're doing your solo thing, man. Tell us about this whole project. You got the Nothing But the Truth Tour 2025, Water Tower. Tell us how you got involved with this whole thing.
Well, let's see. I mean, I think it came very organically, just one step at a time. First of all, in having this music biz and tech startup called SKP, I realized, wow, there's really like no barriers to entry. I can put out music very easily, and it just kind of got the wheels turning. And then just organically started thinking of, or just started getting more obsessed with some alt country, some Americana, some bluegrass. I've always had a love of artists like Katie Lang and Madeline Peru, and there's this bluegrass record that I love that we're going to actually do a cover of tonight, and then some newer artists. One of them I found out from my daughter's Faye Webster, which is down here from the South, and that just has the most beautiful like pedal steel and really warm production. And I was like, this is so creamy. I want to do something like this. And then when I heard Sierra Farrell, that really tripped my trigger. And then just linking up with Kenny through the LA scene, we started writing a few songs, and just one thing led to another, and also a couple books that I read. The Rick Rubin book, where he talks about how you stay out of writer's block by having frequent releases and not being getting stuck in writer's block. That you just not be perfectionists. You just put stuff out. So I realized, I think I wanted to open up a new avenue because with 311, everybody has their own lives, and maybe they're not ready to go into the studio as often as I am. So I was like, I wanted to open something up where I could just explore more random stuff. I mean, 311's always been eclectic, but now getting really eclectic and getting into these very unexpected styles. So I think that all led to it, and it's just been a lot of fun to put out this kind of new style of music.
It is, man. You're never afraid to do something new and weird and exciting and fun.
Weird is good.
It is. I mean, where does this desire to explore come from? Like exploring music, exploring art especially?
Well, I always have had a very wide variety of listening experiences, and I just never want to stop exploring. Music is a never-ending journey, and it's only if you get in a stuck mindset of being too worried about what people think that you'll be stuck inside barriers. And I also think that, your comfort zone can also be a prison. It can put fences around you. So I want to keep exploring, and I find, fortunately, I can still get obsessed with new music. I get on a lot of tangents in my self-improvement, in business, in art, in experiences, whether it's starting a basketball team or getting really into playing poker or getting into hollow body guitars, I go hard on things. I have a very addictive personality, which can have its benefits if you channel it in the right way.
Interesting. Let's talk a little bit more about exploring. Let's dive deeper. You love exploring unique instruments too. I've been noticing online your social media presence has been increasing quite a bit. And in that aspect, I've seen you exploring new instruments. That is one of my favorite things personally to do as well. The sitar, the ukulele, especially world instruments. Tell us about some of the instruments you've been exploring and maybe what you want to explore further.
Yeah, so I think the first new instrument I picked up was the pedal steel, and like what a complex instrument it is. I mean, you're using both feet, because volume pedal on one feet, 3 or 4 pedals on the other foot. You're using your knee as a bender. You're using, and the slide doesn't have any frets, so it's like you really just have to use your ear and develop the technique and the vibrato, everything. It's really tough. So, but it's been a labor of love, and I met a great guy named Brian Simpson in Joshua Tree, and he's been giving me some lessons. And he also, most of the pedal steel that you'll hear on my new work was me, but then a few songs like required a skill level that I don't have. Like my Billie Holiday cover, Solitude, I had Brian Simpson play the pedal steel on there because it was a little beyond my reach. And another guy named Joel Martin, who I've known for a long time, played pedal steel on a couple other songs. He's like a big Grateful Dead head. But then, moving on to probably mandolin was next, and Kenny Feinstein was nice enough to give me some great lessons on that. And, that's a different string arrangement, so I had to learn that it's going to be tuned to fifths rather than fourths.
Tricky one. Mandolin's tricky. It is.
Everything's so close together, so you got to just come in at the right angle, or else you're like muting out strings. And then the banjo was probably the next one. And I did cheat a little bit there because I tuned it like a guitar. But I laid some banjo on my cover of California. And then there's a bunch of other random guitars. I use an acoustic bass, not an upright bass, but like a big acoustic bass guitar. I use a baritone acoustic, which is tuned down to a B on a bunch of the songs, and then still with plenty of my Gibson electrics on there.
That's so cool, man. Is there an instrument that you want to explore further? A new one, maybe that you haven't?
I mean, just to make sure I haven't had a chance to practice mandolin or banjo in a while, so showing those a little love each day, I think is really important. And piano, I haven't played piano a lot, but that was my first instrument. I started that when I was 5, so and I've had a lot of fun, working with my daughter. My oldest daughter is a piano prodigy, and she played piano on the song 1978. So lots to tinker with.
How cool is that, having your daughter playing on a tune with you after all these years? Isn't that wonderful? Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Hey, if you guys are just tuning in, you're late. It's all good. We got Nick Hexum, 311, and not just 311, just doing all kinds of stuff. Hanging out with Water Tower Band. We're on tour, doing all these different things, exploring the musical world, exploring the art world. I do want to talk about these collabs, man. You've been really rocking some collabs with some of our good friends, some of our extended family. HR from Bad Brains, that record is so sick. Josh from The Movement, who we just spoke with last week, he was saying high praises about you. Tell us about the collabs and what kind of got you into getting into the collab mood,
Well, I just believe in saying yes to life, and fortunately lots of people have been reaching out to ask for collabs. The Coheed and Cambria song that I did recently was a lot of fun. I have stuff in the works with Soja, Red, Gold, Green, and that Movement song it's such a great track. As soon as they sent it to me, I was like, yes, please, I'm in. And then they came on our cruise, and it was really nice to jump on stage with them and sing the song. So I love to collaborate, both on other people's songs and then also bringing in people to help me write my stuff and play on my stuff. And like my linking up with Ben Queller and writing the song "Please Explain" was a great experience, and I just think that it's about remaining teachable, and it's kind of an exercise in humility that you just know that there's always stuff you can learn from people.
Absolutely. Hey, let's plug it up real quick. Tell everybody about how they can find all your new solo stuff. You got a vinyl. It's only on the road. Is that correct?
It is. You have to come to a show to get the vinyl, and there's 2 unreleased tracks that aren't on streaming yet. So, and this is my first ever vinyl. When I did the Nick Hexum Quintet about 13 years ago, that never made it to vinyl. So it's very cool to have my own vinyl, and it contains all the songs from my first 3 EPs, which of course have moon themes, waxing, full, and waning, because it's about past, present, and future, and it was a concept my awesome wife helped me come up with.
How cool, man. I do want to kind of switch gears a little bit here. I want to just talk about 311 for a second, because this is not just a 311 interview. This is much more than that. This is what you're doing, and branching out and moving out into the world, and still always having 311 on your back burner. Is there something you want to still accomplish with 311 that you haven't?
Absolutely. I think the fact that 311 has always been a little under the radar has been a good thing, because we never got overexposed, and we kept a healthy amount of both satisfied but still hungry. You know what I mean? It's a good blend to have a little bit of both. And 311 is our life's work. It'll always be my primary focus. But I think it helps the larger entity when individuals have other outlets, because it's like if we only had 311, like, well, what if I wanted to do a banjo tune? And they'd be like, I don't know if that really works for 311. So it's good to have extra outlets. And but yeah, as far as goals, I have some new 311 songs in the works that I've written that are both taking the soft side and the hard side to new extremes. Yes, we've got this one song that's in the works. It's like a prog workout, that it's like a really long song that goes through all these different movements. But to keep reinvigorating our fan base and being exposed to younger audiences is a big part of it. And it is happening, but it's kind of spotty. Like, we'll go to a certain town, like beach towns, you'll see all these high school kids right. holding up their filming with their phones and stuff, but then other towns they don't have that as much. So having more of a widespread exposure to younger audiences, because you'll never get into a band as much as you do in your high school and junior high years. There's something about the plasticity of your brain that, like, for me, I'll never be affected as much as I was by The Clash when I was, in the 80s. And so when people tell me that, 311 is to them what The Clash was to me, I'm like, wow, that is really cool. So it's important to get people, when their mind is that open, that they can really deeply connect. And we hope that we're, exposing them to a more positive and emotionally balanced outlook on life. I think that's kind of part of our life's work. It's not just about rock and roll and fun, but it is about that. But it's also about a deeper thing that I think that it's people really are clinging to, the need for a feeling of unity and hope, especially as really dark as things have gotten lately. So it's like we feel pretty responsible to keep that going.
Extremely dark. We'll touch on that at the end. I don't want to get too far into that. But yeah, this world is getting pretty crazy. It's cool to have people like you and Kenny and Water Tower and everybody bringing us art. We need art right now. We need great art. We need to, and some of the best music comes from the highest highs and the lowest lows, I think.
That's true.
It really does. So this time is a really good time to go out there and explore, create new music, and spread good love. love into the world. That's an interesting point about high school and your brain and the elasticity. I mean, I remember listening to you guys back in high school, and that's what started the tattoos and the 311 is my religion shirts, and and all that stuff. That is such a true statement. That's wild. You remember that point? Do you remember the change when it was put up your lighters to put up your phones?
Yes. So, and when we used to do Beyond the Gray Sky, it was put up your lighters, and everybody did it. And then, but now people don't. It was at a certain point, I just started saying, put up your phones and your lighters, or lighter your phone, whatever makes light. Now I don't even bother with lighters because nobody has lighters and everybody has a phone. But I think that our fans are a little less into the constantly having their phone up. They're a little bit more present than your average concert going crowd. I mean, when I go to a concert with my kids, like, Billie Eilish or Taylor Swift or whatever, every person in the whole place has up their phones, and I guess that's just the days that we live in.
Yeah. It's crazy to see the evolution of just how things have changed, but it's circular too. Things come around and go around and come back, but I mean, that is wild. Thinking about that elasticity of the brain in high school, I've never thought about that. That's very true. All right, so we're going to get you out of here in just a second. I do have one more 311 question, and then we're going to kind of get to a final statement here.
All good.
Made in the shade. I'm going to throw you a curveball here. You got to keep on climbing the hill, because if you think you'll make it, you will. Go swimming quick like a fish, and every wish will be fulfilled. Strike up and start the parade, cutting down the weeds and slinging the blade. When they fire that warning shot, you'll have a spot made in the shade. Where did that song come from? That is so positive, and that is what it is right there.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad you like it. I didn't take the lead on that song. Chad came up with this really good instrumental, and it was very outside of his usual thing. He's usually responsible for writing the heavy, simple riffs with a lot of kind of progressive key changes and stuff like that. And then this song was just very much of a meditation. And then so me and Scott Ralston wrote the vocals to that. And I think it's a continuation of the song My Stony Baby. The fish who keeps on swimming is the first to chill upstream. Yeah. It's just always been about maybe taking that Midwestern work ethic that we've had, and that you got to have goals. You got to have something that you're working toward, or else you flounder, or you get into destructive things. So I think that's what that song has touched on.
Keep on climbing that hill. You'll find that spot made in the shade. That is a newer, I guess you could say, 311 song, but that, you don't have to go way back. You can go throughout the whole catalog. You guys still say the same when it comes to that message. And that right there is you guys. Yeah. And everybody has to keep that mind state, especially in the state of where we are, whatever we're doing right now, whatever this whole thing is. Hey, man, it's been a pleasure. I got one more question for you. Usually it's, what does reggae mean to you? But we're going to go a little bit deeper. One thing that you've said that's always stuck with me is you never stop learning. Yeah. You never stop learning. What have you learned over the years that has really stuck with you?
Man. Well, I don't know. I think that in my late 30s, I really just went through a pretty profound change of learning to ask for help and challenge my own preconceived notions, and I guess reconsider everything, as the song goes. And I think once I opened the floodgates of asking for help, then that really just branched out into so many different areas. Therapy, working with a personal trainer, taking guitar lessons. I really think that learning to I kind of went through this thing where I was like, oh, I got it. Okay, I don't got it. And that sort of breakdown of the ego, and that that surrendering to becoming more teachable and keeping that going was the biggest profound change in my life. And then also around that time, I extending the asking for help thing. I was getting very into spirituality. I was going to some Buddhist meetings, and getting into meditation, reading The Power of Now. Eckhart Tolle's his second book I love so much, called A New Earth, and then just getting into the nature of like desires and ambition and the need for accolades and all these consumerism, like it's going to make me happy if I have this, or all this bullshit that the programming that we have. And then like after a lot of meditation, it all kind of came crumbling down, and I was left, well, now what do I do if like all those things that I thought was going to work don't work? Now what am I going to do? And I was left with savor and serve. Savor the moments, use your senses to really experience everything to the fullest. And if you're in your head that you're in the future or in the past, the way to get into the present moment is to use your senses, and that's how you become present for me. And then being of service, of knowing that to feel good about your actions by having an attitude of service is so important. Like you can't be happy if you're not feeling good about your actions. So that's what I try and do, and I've kind of realized that at one point I'd like to organize all these thoughts in a book form, because I think it's something that a certain amount of people might get into, and I just want to pass on what I've been so freely given. Reconsider everything, Nick. It's been a blast. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. It's the Nothing But the Truth Tour 2025 here in Knoxville, Tennessee. We got Nick Hexum, Water Tower Band. It's been a pleasure, man. We can't wait for the show. You guys come check it out. 311.com, at Water Tower Band, at Nick Hexum. Peace and love. Explain what you are thinking. What are you thinking?